Music volume muted.
Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Below you mind what I can do at low vision. I hope I can upload this video for y'all because everybody's calling my phone and throwing my video off because I do my YouTube on my phone. So when people call in, it throws off my videos. I used to put it on airplane mode. When I went to New Jersey, my phone was on airplane mode. So this way it blocked any call coming in. I don't like doing that because then I can miss someone's call. Well, now back to the story today. Before my dad gets home, I can get very fast into that part. My dad came home from the hospital yesterday, and it didn't help him at all because he had a hallucination. At 1 in the morning, woke me up, and thought that somebody was coming down the hallway to harm him. There were two guys running down the hallway to harm him, that they were hitmen that were going to kill him. And then, 7 a.m. in the morning, he had a hallucination that people were shaking poison bottles above his head, water bottles with poison powder that went in the air. And that didn't happen, of course, because it ain't real, but he suffered from a couple illnesses that I'm not going to say on here. And he can't face he has them. And the hospital is now trying to say they don't know if he has that or something else. And his white blood cell count is low. His sugar keeps going low. His heart rate keeps going up and down. They can't figure out what's causing that. But long story short, I've been very stressed with that. So that's why I haven't been doing a lot of car repair videos lately. Because like I do work on people's cars. I haven't been doing it because like I've been so stressed out. Like, yo, I haven't been doing it. Then I can sing way better than I usually can on my channel, but I have to hide that because my mom, who adopted me, calls me a F word, that you sound like an F word when you sing the F with the ER at the end, sometimes. And then not just that, she calls the other word too, the F word with another thing in case their kids watching, what guys shouldn't be called. And then my dad calls me every name in the book, puts me down, put my blindness down, puts down because my ribs are broken from what happened to me in school, the injuries that the kids did to me. My dad puts me down with that. Then I have problems right here in the center of my chest because when I got punched there as a kid, it did damage to the bone and stuff. Like my ribs, if I don't get them rib plated, they're permanently like that. And I'm just going to leave my ribs the way they are. One is just on top of each other. I'm fine. I breathe. I'm fine. My chest, it hurts sometimes. My wrist, where I got cut, I didn't do it, but somewhere right where my wrist meets my hand, it got cut, and it was bleeding, cut a couple of tendons. I didn't do it. That's how cruel kids can be to people with disabilities. Like, yo, from 6th to 12th grade, I didn't have the best place to grow up in. The kids were very mean and cruel. Like, literally getting held down on the bus. Getting, like, the seatbelts used to pin you down to strap you because the bus driver was the one kid's uncle. He got away with everything for a whole year. After the year, that stuff ended with the bus. Like, that stuff went away because it was a different driver and they wouldn't let that happen. But getting, like, ABC gum shoved in my ear and a pen torn apart. You know the clear pens where you can see, like, the ink on the inside, how much ink you have left? Well, the kids took that apart and they thought it'd be fun to use an ink cartridge with the point that shoved the ABC gum in my ear. So that stuff I went through too. Then when I would be walking to class, I get stuff poured on me and stuff, or bottle caps thrown at me when I first came in to school, or like when I went into the locker room, my clothes stolen from me and stuff like that. Then I had to like, I had no clothes. Like I took my pants off to go change into the other thing, and I couldn't do that because they took my other pair of pants. I of course I left my boxers on, but I took my pants off to change into my other ones, and they ended up, because our school didn't have like a stall you could lock yourself into. It's just like an area to change and that's it with your lockers. And my clothes got stolen from me a couple times. A couple times I did fight back for my clothes. They were going to take and lock it in their locker, and that wasn't right. I even had my shoes taken off of me, like yanked off after I got slammed to the ground, my shoes thrown to go find them and stuff like that. And like my cane that I walk with. Back then, I didn't need the cane, but the school made me use it for a liability purpose because I'm legally blind. But when I had my glasses taken off, I couldn't see a thing. Well, the kids took my glasses, threw them, took my cane, told me to go find them. School wouldn't do a thing about it. So I stopped going to school because being threatened like that. If I don't do something to myself, they'll do it to get me out of my misery and stuff like that. Going through all that abuse every day at school, then going through the abuse at home from your adopted parents. Well, my adopted parents split, but my mom dating boyfriends since 2nd grade and on that were beating me up, and her putting the hands on both of us and doing all those kind of things. And then like getting kids putting their hands on me at school from 6th grade up, getting punched in my chest, getting punched in my ribs, punched in the neck and stuff like that, getting threatened at knife point. And then It really is bad, but I want to show you what I got from the Commission of the Blind today. Let me show you that. I ended up getting, let me feel where the stove thing is. There it is. I know my house. Where's the thing? Right here. This, see how I can pick it up and it stays together? Well, that right here, see how they're little draining holes? This is so I can make spaghetti, so I can boil noodles or make sauce and stuff like that. And this locked on, so I can do that. See how it's locked on? Now it don't do nothing. But that comes off so I can pour it. And this, let me feel for it, is my knife. Right there's the blade, but I match it to that track right next to it, and that goes on the edge of what I want to cut. So it's a guard to let me know how big of slices I'm making when I do vegetables. That's what my daily living teacher gave me. Sorry about the kitchen, a little clutter. But see how there are puff dots on the stove and stuff, and pop dots. This one does the oven. I'm not sure what the puff dots show you. That's what my mobility teacher put on, puff dots, so I can cook independently. That's my furnace that you hear right there. We don't have a furnace door, it's just a furnace, but I was told I didn't need one anyways. This is damages that my dad did to the home. This all came off when he had a rage one night. He ripped that off. But we keep these right here, these chairs, and I have this so it makes a sound, and where is it? A bell that's right behind that, holding that down. So this way my dad knows nobody's coming in home. But this is my coat I wanted to show y'all. This is how bad stuff's going on. This is my coat. Duct tape. This ain't my coat I wear anymore. I got a new coat. But my dad sliced up my winter coat thinking it was someone else's. And like, that's some of the things I went through in this house with my parents and stuff. Let me feel for my chair. Yeah, this is my chair, right? Yeah. This is my one nose so y'all can see. It has clips to open right there. I pull that and I pull the other clip and you slide the window up to open it because this is an old mobile home, so it don't have like newer windows. Alrighty. But before my dad gets here and it becomes all war if he hears me talking, let me finish getting into that. My dad went to the hospital Sunday because he's throwing himself on the ground and everything because he was refusing to eat and his blood sugars went down. He thought he was being poisoned. Well, long story short, he went to the hospital, got his blood sugars fixed. He's threatened to self-harm. They let him out the same night. Then, all of a sudden, he went on Tuesday morning. We had the police there because he thought they were a hitman hiding under the oven and hide under the refrigerator, which you can't fit under a refrigerator. But in his mind, he thought they could. So he thought they were hitmen here. So the police came. Then I had my training with David, who's teaching me Braille and working on stuff like that with me because I know Braille, but not all Braille, and he's working on that with me. And he's also making the kitchen more accessible because I lost all my eyesight now, so I have to learn a little bit how to cook. Then I'm working with Kyle, who does music, so I can do music produced and stuff like that. They're Northeast Association of the Blind on Washington Ave in Albany. He's doing like beats with my music and stuff like that, But long story short, I went to the Halsey concert June 6th. That was amazing. I had the best time of my life in 2025, the great impersonator. But I didn't have the best time of my life before the concert. My dad acted like a boo at the venue. He wouldn't get in a wheelchair, so he was yelling. We got there at 2:30, 2:40-ish, or 2:50-ish, the latest at the venue. I got there before they even set the VIP. And I had gifts for Halsey. And matter of fact, I gave her a hat of one of her favorite bands. I also gave her a sticker of her favorite band, and I gave her a couple other things. And I gave her some letters. And this I did not give her. That's a keychain with my YouTube logo. But I gave her a pen like this. And it has my YouTube logo on it. And it has a stylus on the one end. And I gave a whole bunch of letters that I made with a computer that wasn't mine. Which I hope nobody else had access to. Because I didn't, like, print them out as I wrote them. I wrote them, then I don't know if everything is left there or someone else added stuff. Like, so I hope everything was fine with that. But I reached out, explained to her how she's a role model I look up to and all the things and stuff like that. And thank you for making amazing music because it really helped me during my time in need. Because I was homeless from 2014 to 2015, November 2014 to October 2015. I was homeless for a year. And then in 2016, end of 2016 to 2021, I lost all my income. New York State said a blind person couldn't manage their money. So I had to learn how to fight and advocate for myself because no lawyer would take that case. So as you can picture, some of the trauma things I've been through, it ain't worse, it ain't as bad as other people I've been through. Like, and beaten by your mother's boyfriends, them putting their hands on you, you a little tiny second grade kid, imagine, trying to pull a full grown man off of your mother as he's beating her up. And then sometimes getting chased by mother's boyfriends that run drug runs right when I throw myself on my bed and curl up in a ball because I was in elementary school. And I knew I was going to get hit, but I protected my head and stuff. Because I have a cyst on my head. And I also have a cyst in my eye from getting hit where I got right here. Like, I don't know if that will ever go away, but I have damage behind my one eye from getting hit back from one of my mother's boyfriends. But it is what it is. Can't change that. I got hit in my eye, my eye was bleeding, my eye socket. I got like stitches and stuff. Is that my mother pulling in? If it is, I'll have to go to my room for y'all. I'll just unlock the door and make it so they can come in and stuff like that. But it is what it is. But I think it is them. I might, you know what, I'm going to do another part video of this because they're here and I don't need, like, I think, well, no, I'll talk about other stuff. I'm learning Braille better. The Braille teacher seen I'm doing good on that, but I will be doing more automotive repair videos for y'all soon. Like I said, I'm sorry for keeping y'all hanging that. And I will be traveling to do my YouTube because my music, I can sing way better than I do on YouTube. Like, I'm afraid to sing on my YouTube channel, my home, due to things going on. So, like, I'm a little nervous, like, stressed out and stuff, but I'm going to be selling these keychains at local bars and places that I'm called and have permission to go singing. And they're going to be $3 a piece. It's going to help pay for my funding. And these pens are going to be $2 a piece. I'm going to sell hats for $10 a hat that has my YouTube logo on it. And I got signs that are $12 a sign. The signs cost me $8 to make. So it ain't that bad. Like, I ain't making that much money. It's just enough to travel. And I'm going to get a tent and gotta figure out if I'm going to hire a driver, like find someone who's retired that wants to travel, and maybe we can make a deal. They can stay at the campsite, and if they bring me to the places that I need to perform and sing at to help get myself out there and known, maybe then, like if they want to do stuff, we can schedule that because I'm going to Jersey for 3 nights. I'm going to be staying at the Cheese Creek State Park again. Then I'm going to be going to a restaurant in New York City and performing, and a bar in New York City and performing, and now I'm going to be going to another place in the other parts of New York City. I'm going to be going to the Bronx, I'm going to be going to Queens, and Manhattan, New York City. Then a place in Jersey I'm going to be performing at too, in Middlesex County, NJ. I fell in love with that area. If I could save the money, I'd love to live there. If I could save the money, buy myself a house, and find a good income, I'd go there, y'all. Public transportation, away from all this nonsense, away from my one uncle who'll break into my house if he knew I was home. That's why I couldn't upload no videos of my Jersey trip until I came home. But then my dad and my mom doesn't know how to use a GPS, so she started taking it out on me, screaming at me in Jersey. It was my fault. My dad screaming at me, calling me every name in the book. So on June 6th, the morning of the concert, we stopped at John John Vovey Rest Stop. Well, I couldn't even say John John Vovey Rest Stop right. I said John John John, and I couldn't even do it because I was so stressed out. Like, I felt so hurt. I went to go see Halsey, someone who I look up to, and I'm being treated like a piece of trash by my mom who adopted me and my dad because my mom wouldn't let me. I was 30 years old and now I'm 31, but like was giving me an issue when the Commission of the Blind and ABBA, Northeast Association of the Blind, said I can navigate and I can take a train, I can take a lift, I can take an Uber. I'm independent. I can travel. I know how to use my cane. I can put GPS on my phone and I follow where GPS says to walk, and I can do it. But my mom, no, I'm going. You ain't leaving me with your father. Take care. So then I had to buy my mom's ticket for the concert and had to buy my dad's. And then I had to buy my own. I wanted a VIP ticket to get up close so I could maybe hopefully like hold like a sign or something up too, letting her know all the things like she helped me through, like saying you helped me out of the darkest times of my life, some of them with her music. But I wasn't able to do that because I had to buy tickets for my mom and dad. And then it's like the whole Jersey trip, June 4th, when we got to Jersey, we broke down on the way there a couple of times. I had to fix the car and get it run. The first time we just overheated. That was fine. But another time I had to get a stranger to bring me to the parts store to run and grab a part. Thank God a parts store had it. Then I got it going again. And then when I got to Jersey, My uncle calls me, asks my mom, "Oh, I need the insurance information of you guys' insurance." And he goes, "I'm gonna fight that car wreck." My uncle, when my family and I took him in, I didn't want to take him in, but my family did. He ended up lying about who he was when he got in a car with a car that I bought for my family and I get around. He smashed 12 cars on my family and I in under 2 months that I had to buy because I was going to go meet the Our American Reject Band in Stillwater, Oklahoma back in 2022. I was going to go to high school. I planned it all and everything. And a guy was going to let me stay at his campsite and stuff like that and told me to make sure I have one next to the bathroom and everything. And him and his wife would bring me to Eskimo Joe's so I could try World's famous cheese fry and stuff like that and check out the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and there and everything in Stillwater, Oklahoma. But unfortunately, I couldn't do that because I had to keep buying cars that kept getting smashed because my mother's brother and her boyfriend had a drug addiction. My mother brought a drug addicted boyfriend after she moved in with me. Then I threw my mom out, took her back in, threw her out, took her back in because I couldn't see my mom being homeless. I couldn't do it. But long story short, it is what it is. It sucked. The Halsey concert was amazing. People I met in Jersey was amazing. But the trip, I'm gonna go back one day and do it myself. I literally said if I didn't have my cat, I would have stayed in the tent the rest of the year and forgot about my home, forgot about everything in mind, left everything and just moved. That's how stressed I was. Like I'm not sure if anyone's seen my one TikTok video. Me stressed, like I was really stressed, like 1 something in the morning, I was all stressed out. That's when we got back from the Halsey concert at the campsite, and my mom got lost in the campsite because she had to go an after hour gate, and she didn't know how to find the campsite in the dark. She never did it before, so it was my fault. I was getting cursed at because she couldn't find the campsite put down right after the Halsey concert. And I wanted to stay at the Halsey concert. I wanted to buy something at the Halsey concert. I wanted to buy something with my money. I was not allowed to. As soon as the concert stopped, my mother came down like a minute or two after everybody got up and left. And me, I talked to the one guard. I was gonna wait until everything calmed down. Then he was gonna take me so I could buy something with my credit card. And I wanted to buy like a shirt or something from Halsey's concert, so I knew it was legit, not something from eBay that could be made or fake or something. And I couldn't do that because my mom said, "Oh, we gotta go right now. Your father's flipping out. Your father's causing a scene. We gotta go right now." And I don't want to drive in the dark. I said, "Mom, it's already dark, so you're driving in the dark." Then we go out. My dad's in a wheelchair. They put him in there, wheeling him out. And my mom gets lost at the venue. "Where do I go?" And she's like screaming on the phone at security. I'm like, oh my God, she's crying in tears now. Because she don't know how. My mom isn't good at advocating and voicing stuff. Someone tells her no, nope, she won't do it. Or someone tells her she has to do something, she'll do it. She's very easy presser to my mom who adopted me because it's probably from the abusive relationship that she's been in, all the abusive relationships. But my mom would adopt me. I love her. She adopted me. She's nice. Some of the things she does, I can't get mad at her because she suffers from some mental illnesses that cause her to do those things. But it's hard because dealing with two parents with issues going on, one that hallucinates and sees and hears things and smells things and thinks everybody's out to get them, and another one that screams and yells and calls your name too sometimes. Like, I'm not sure if y'all seen the one when I went to Colony Center, the mall. I didn't know there was a button to hit. I'm trying to find a door so I could pull the door open and hold it for my mom to bring my dad in a wheelchair. I said, "Where's the door?" "Just hit the blanking button." And then, well, she didn't say the F word because she almost did. Well, she said, "Just hit it's right there in front of you." I'm blind. How am I going to see that? And then, like, every time she knows I follow the wall with my cane when I'm at malls and follow the edges of the stores so I can walk around the mall. She kept like guiding me in the middle of this mall where I didn't know where I was. Like if you watch the Edison, New Jersey, the mall, the Menlo Park Mall or whatever in New Jersey, I got lost on one part of the mall and that's it. But I used footsteps to follow my way around. The mall turned in a spot and went on the second floor because it was my first time I walked around that mall, especially by myself, and I didn't know, like, the second floor mall, one side's like ramps going up every so often, or a raise and a raise. The other side had little steps every so often. It's a beautiful mall. I thought it was pretty cool. I couldn't afford to buy anything that mall because it was, like, expensive, but I walked through the mall to see things. And I stopped at Annie and Pretzel and got a pretzel. Shout out to them at Menlo Park Mall. It was very nice. And stuff like that. But long story short, I came to this one place where I didn't know the mall turns to the left a little because it's a big like island in the center, like a big thing. So I didn't want to didn't want to walk and get hurt and fall down an escalator or something, so I used people's footsteps. I thought, hey, y'all, hang on, I'm going to wait to follow footsteps. And I waited to follow someone's footsteps, and I used the sound of their footsteps to get re-navigated to find myself back. And then I ended up finding out where I was going and stuff like that. Shout out to everybody in New Jersey that was so helpful. Like, yo, I love New Jersey. It's so nice. It's a lot. Don't get me wrong, my nice small town is nice, but not being able to drive, not being able to have a store that sells groceries I can walk to if I didn't take a bus. Say if I love the Middlesex County, New Jersey, but it's out of my price range right now. But all the accessibility there, I fell in love with. Like, I could walk down Route 1 in Edison with my cane and walk and carry a backpack or something and leave the backpack with customer service at the store and go shopping and then put the food in my backpack, or even get like a little wagon or something I could pull behind me because I love being independent. And that's what I would do, so I didn't have to take like a bus or something. I could like walk back to my home with GPS telling me what way to go on my phone by bringing phone packs, like charging packs with me, phone banks. And that's what I would do to be independent. And I would love that independency. I would love to be in Jersey. The ocean, I fell in love. Yo, my first time ever in the ocean was New Jersey. My first time ever to the ocean was Boston, Massachusetts. My stepfather, it was wintertime. He was making the school give me a proper education because they put me in a program called Job Coach. And they ended up having me like clean toilets for restaurants and stores and stock shelves for like half a while on my school day, and it wasn't right, and they put me at a different class. I was in a high honor student with algebra, because I was a high honor student, but when the bullying started, physical and verbal, my guardian started dropping me because I didn't want to go to school, be threatened that stuff's going to happen to you and stuff like that. Yo, you ain't going to go to school like that and stuff like that. But long story short, my grades went back up after my stepfather met my mom and stuff like that, and he started going to school and taking care of things. Him and I talked about things that I let my mother know and stuff like that, so we addressed issues without my mom knowing, so she didn't have to worry. Because I didn't tell my mom everything that was going on at home because I didn't want to. Because if you watch my whole thing at what it was like being bullied part 1 and stuff like that, and part 2 way in my channel, I talk about some of the things I went through, like, but it is what it is. But then having all the trauma I went through as a kid from all the abuse at home, the abuse at school, and stuff like that, and some things that happened to me I'm not going to say on here because I'm just not going to say. But it is what it is. But what I'm saying is all this stuff built me into this strong person I am today, where I don't back down for nothing. I will not disrespect someone. But I will sit there, and if someone says I cannot do something, you know what? I'm not gonna do it in front of them and say, see, I did it, huh? See? No. I'm gonna say, you know what? I know I can do it. I'm not gonna let you stop me by you saying I can't do it. Maybe you don't think I can, or maybe you didn't know someone who's blind that can do things. But I know I can do it, and I'll do it if I can. And maybe it's a chance I can't if I didn't do something yet. But then I'll try for myself and see if I can do it. Then if I can't, then I'll ask for assistance. That's the type of guy I am. I got my little race car outside. I'm going to take down a drag strip. I was going to sell it, but no, I can't. I always wanted a car the year I was born, 1994. I bought a Ford Mustang from my uncle who screwed me over 6 ways from Sunday. I gave him the money when he was down in Florida. Guys, was going to move to California and drop like contact with a lot of my my adopted family, and only stay in contact with certain ones and just drop everything. And unfortunately, I was going to just jump and leave and not let my mom know, because I was already reaching out to Commission of the Blind in California and stuff like that and all that. And I was going to move to Ojai, California and stuff like that. But then I ended up not doing it because I ended up buying this stupid Mustang my uncle talked me into saying I could make a lot of money off of. So I used everything that I had saved and paid it to him. I thought, yeah, I could do my money. We're going to go to California now. So I paid for that Mustang. It was a 30-year anniversary Mustang. It was 94, so the same year I was born. So I always wanted a car the year I was born. But I got a Ford Probe now, and it's in way better shape than that Mustang, but the Probe has one little issue with that I gotta fix. My uncle cut all the brake lines out from underneath the car, and my uncle busted stuff on the car. He took a sledgehammer to the skirting on the side of the body of the car, so I gotta fix that. And my uncle cut the head of the bolts off to the knuckle for the strut, so I replaced all the struts but one. My uncle said, "Oh, let me help you. I'll do it for free." Oh yeah, his free was break it, so I have to pay him to fix it. But I'm gonna draw that bolt out myself. Then my uncle took the master cylinder off the car because I had a new one. I said, "No, no, no! What are you doing? I'm doing that myself. I know what I'm doing." Nope, he smashed them and smashed a hammer into them, smashed into a tree, busted both of my brake master cylinders. So now I gotta buy another one to get brakes for that car. The probe, because I was gonna take the probe to Jersey. I wanted to take my 94 probe to Jersey. That was the whole purpose. Like, I sent the letter to Halsey saying, "Hey, if you get this letter, it was in the gifts. It means I made it to your concert and stuff like that." But, like, the reason I put that, because I explained that I had a car that was a piece of junk that my family and I took there. We took a car that needed a lot of work, and it broke down the day after the concert. I went to the ocean. I went to Sandy Hook Beach. And on the way back, the car wouldn't do over 20 miles an hour. I had to buy parts to fix it. We drove with the four ways on, going from the beach all the way back to Cheesequake State Park, and I had to fix the car. And shout out to that one person who brought my family and I to the parts store and got the parts that we need to get the car going again. Shout out to them. That was nice. And shout out to Tony Pizza for being an amazing pizza parlor in Edison, New Jersey. If you haven't been there yet, go check that out. But I want to give a shout out also to No Fee Association of the Blind for Kyle, who's helping me so I can produce my own music, because I'm writing a song, and the song is talking about if I was someone else, if I wasn't born me and I was born someone else, what would my life have been like? Would I have achieved all the things that I came today? Would I have had a different life? Would I achieve more things? Would I achieve less things? What would it have been? Then it talked about saying, you know what, I'm perfect the way I am. And it talks about that. So, like, anyone else doubting themselves, like, wondering who they'd be if they were someone else. Like, sometimes I think that, like, when I'm in my room because of stress that I go through. So I'm like, damn, what if I was someone else? Would I have done that? Would I have... That's what I think sometimes. So I put how I felt in lyrics and made a song. And then I have another song that talks about hard time, laying on the bed staring up at the ceiling as the world goes flashing by all around. That's talking about feeling upset and going through hardships and stuff like that. Then I got good songs, encouraging songs, talk about how I was on the street, how I went to homeless. Now I own my own mobile home. It ain't the best mobile home. It's a late 50s, early 60s mobile home. When I got it was a wreck. It needed everything, and I mean everything. But I'm slowly fixed her up. It might not be fixed like a mint place, like the best place in the world, but it's livable. And what was nice, everything was fixed, because when I first bought the home, I got a whole bunch of things. Before I even knew it, I got a thing from the code enforcement officer and the trailer park saying I had to fix everything on the home before I could move into it. So then I fixed everything on the home. It passed, and then I could move into it. And that was pricey. So I fixed the windows, and I worked with code. I said, can't I just stay here to fix the rest? And they said, okay. Then I fixed everything. Now it's all fixed. And that's a good thing. So it has no safety concerns with this home at all. And that's a plus. But my uncle busted out windows that I already paid to fix in drug raids. And it's like just ridiculous, all the stuff that I went through here. My mom's ex-fiance used to like tap his foot on the floor. That's understandable because he couldn't get his drugs, but a drug shouldn't have ever been around this home. I didn't allow them to be smoked in the home. I said, Mom, come on, listen. He's smoking drugs. You can do better than this. I can fix him. I can fix him, my mom goes. I said, Mom, you cannot fix him. And I was like, no, I can fix him. I want to fix him. I'm like, all right. I'm like, okay, I'll give it to her, because I don't understand, like, all the thing that my mom meant. To my mom who adopted me, her father, when he found out her mom was pregnant, took off and ran away. So she never had a father in a way. So I understand maybe she has some insecurities. Like me, I faced my fear head on. Yo, literally head on if you watch. I tried to chicken out of it almost when I went flying. Because I never had a fear of heights until I got a fear of heights from... Well, I was afraid of heights when I was a kid, but then I went cliff jumping in Lake Placid and stuff like that with a group that did stuff with blind kids and deaf kids. And I cliff jumped off a 500-foot cliff with a cable hooked to me and stuff like that. Then I propelled down mountainsides and stuff like that. We had a cable that was stretched across some river up in the Adirondack Mountains that they took us kids to also. And we did that, and that was pretty cool. We used our hand and climbed across. We had a safety harness hooked to us. and I faced my favorite height overcame. But then my ex-girlfriend and I went to a place in Ava Park, and it was Summerfest, and we went on a ride called the Flying Bob, and it holds you completely sideways, almost upside down, where your head is slanted, tilted like that. Well, the ride, the guy forgot that the one part, the gate didn't, like the thing that goes against your chest, didn't lock, and the seatbelt buckle, if you pulled on it, it popped. Well, we're up there, it's going, it's spinning fast, and spinning us around in circles, and spinning fast up there in the air, flaring out and in. And all of a sudden, the gate popped on. I'm like, ooh, and my girlfriend's screaming, and, well, my ex-girlfriend now, she was screaming, and I'm like, uh-oh. Then, all of a sudden, his seatbelt was loosening and popped off. Oh, and I quickly shoved my feet. I said, get back in the seat. I quickly shoved my feet against the side of the ride and wedged it. I wedged my foot under the seat part, the one foot, and wedged my feet, and I hung on for dear life and pinned my ex-girlfriend into the seat so she wouldn't fall, so I could protect her and myself. And people were riding at the ride instructor, stopped the ride. People who went on it were yelling, and people on the ground yelling, stop the ride, stop the ride. And eventually, he understood what they had a ride instructor, which I love all people in life, so he didn't understand English, that like he couldn't speak English. Someone else had to talk in a different language to get him to understand what happened. Then he stopped the ride, but that was a scary experience. So ever since then, I was afraid of heights again. Well, not no more. I was going to get ice cream at my friend's ice cream parlor, and I was going to go into Vermont to go get the foliage with my mom, like video record it for y'all. Well, long story short, I didn't end up video recording the Fall Fest because I went to go there and it was a detour and the road was closed. It was good Lord telling me to go back because I'm like, yeah, I'll be there later. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be there. And I'm like, no, I don't want to. I'm afraid of that. No, I'm going to go. I said, why should I hold myself back? Life has no limitation. Yes, for the longest time, I was afraid to use public bathrooms because of a certain thing that happened to me, but I'll keep that to myself. So I really didn't want to use public bathrooms or anything like that. I wanted my own bathroom. Like, if it wasn't a family room, I wouldn't use it due to something that happened to me back in school and stuff like that. So that's a whole nother thing. I won't talk about that. That's personal. I'm going to keep that to myself. But long story short, I'm like, you know what? I faced all my fears head on. I'm afraid of heights. You know what? Let's go for it, and I'm going to face this. So my heart's racing. Like, we pull in behind my friend's diner and down this dirt road between the diner and gas station in Steventown. And my heart's racing, like pounding. So then I meet the gentleman, Dave, who took me flying. And then there was another guy named Joe that was there also that flew and stuff like that. And I said, well, and I told him I was a little afraid of heights. And Dave was very nice and very understanding. No, we'll talk about that later. Right now, we're going to get up there and see how it works. And I'm like, okay. It's like he was helping me and let me know everything was going to be okay and stuff like that. And I gotta say, thank you, Dave. You really helped me. I'm not afraid of heights anymore. If you ever go skydiving, wherever you guys go, I was looking up blind people can skydive, and I'd love to go skydiving with you all one day. And I can get one of those things I hook onto my, like that I wear around my neck that my phone hooks to, so I can hold my phone and record it this time, and stuff like that. Like something that clips my phone to my shirt or something. I'm gonna get one of those things. But it was fun. I went up about 450 feet in the air, and it was pretty cool. It was a three-wheel thing if you want to watch it. It says Blind Man Went Paraglider and Blind Man Went Flying. I forget what I named it. It's on my YouTube channel, my videos. You'll see it. Other than that, I've been alright, but I don't usually do life updates, but because I haven't been doing so many videos for y'all, I am going to be traveling for my music. I got to figure out how to juggle that with my dad, who can't be left alone, so that my mommy can stay with him. I have to hire someone to watch my dad. I was going to take my dad with me, but I don't want him starting with security in all different places and different people and stuff like that. Then I can't sing my truest potential, because then my dad will be there and I'll be like petrified and nervous that he's going to call me names and put me down. My dad, Christopher, loves me. I understand it, and he can't help what he's going through, but it is what it is. My mom loves me too, and she suffers from illnesses too. My mom, who adopted me. Like, it ain't her fault that her boyfriends were abusive and stuff and put their hands on us. Like, my stepdad, who I met, my mom met him in 8th grade. The only problem he had was alcohol. He drank, and he told me, just don't go out after 4 p.m., 5 p.m. out of your room, because I'll be drunk, and I might yell at you or call you names or stuff like that, and I won't mean it. It's the alcohol. So I stayed in my room at that time, or I went outside. I used to walk around, but had a couple bad experiences in my neighborhoods. Like the one neighborhood I was at, my stepfather's grandson and I, we were chased by people on dirt bikes, people who I went to school with and stuff. And I said to him, I said, listen, we were in the sand pits. It was the sand pits in East Greenbush. And he said, yeah. I said, you know how we have permission with the guard to collect cans and bottles and stuff and just to, like, explore and walk? Yeah. I said, this is what we're going to do. You know that big, steep hill with sand that goes down that you really shouldn't climb up. We're going to slide down that. And we're going to climb back up because those dirt bikes can't do it. We're going to make it look like, because it's a path down there. There's a whole bunch of round, like, tubes, like, under roads that they stored down there. That was a road that went up to Route 9 and 20. We were up behind Hampton Manor Lake area. So what we did, I said, let's make it look like we're going down that hill. I said to him, I was mumbling, like whispering it to him as we were trying to run. Because back then I was legally blind. I could see straight ahead, only far ahead, but it was blurry. So we were both running and stuff, and we went to that hill, slid down the hill, made it look like we were going there. They stopped, and then they floored their dirt bikes, like heading right for the path to cut us off. They'd say it would have been able to cut us off if we went that way. But I outsmarted them, and we climbed back up the hill. And we waited to see if they were doing it, if we were just in the right. But sure enough, they came down circle, and then they seen us up there, and then they floored it. But we got out of those woods in time, and we got away from that. Then one time we seen, like, we couldn't do nothing because there's too many of them. Like, some getting messed up and stuff on the one road and stuff like that. Which some police officers are good in the area, some weren't. So I knew not to trust the police for it, because my friend Lexi had problems with the police department. Other friends I know had problems with the police department. I had problems with the police department. They wouldn't look into certain things, and it is what it is. So I left that alone and just walked by. If it was only 2 on one, I would have stepped in then, but I couldn't with how many they were. And it is what it is, but I made a phone call to the police. I said, hey, something went on Hampton Manor Lake. The road next to the park, if you go around the park at the stop sign at the end of the hill, if you leave the Hampton Manor Park entrance right next to the basketball courts and stuff on the side of the lake with the gazebo, take a right out of the driveway, go down, take a right at that stop sign, and then go down to the end where you can turn again, right there at that little intersection, left and right. Someone was being messed up, and I said, I don't know what went on. There was a car there and stuff, but I said, there's brush and stuff broken out of the woods and stuff now that goes, and I'm like, I don't know what it is. I said, you guys should look into it. And that's it. And then when I was up the road from right where my mom and stepfather lived, they found a car burnt up with someone inside of it. So, like, it wasn't good people around the area that I went, and they say it was someone who did something to themselves. I don't believe it, because certain people that I went to school with were not good people. Like, they have videos that they used to show other people of them doing things to other people that were on their phones. So I knew they were bad people, to avoid them at all costs I could. Because, hey, back when after my stepfather passed away, I had to, because I didn't know where I moved. My mom and I in these apartments that we moved to because it was in our income. Some of those people lived around there, and I didn't know that, and they hung out at those apartments in the basements. So I'm walking one day, going around, walking, all of a sudden, back then I was legally blind, so I could make out a vehicle, or a car, or a truck. So it was a car, and then a truck. And they stopped, and then the doors opened. I said, oh, here we go. So I took off running. I went right for the woods, because I learned how to do that from living in the area that I lived, because then I knew I was outnumbered that much. Then I ran for the woods and hid in the woods, and I came out, but then all of a sudden, kids were right there, right? When I came out, then I started running, and then all of a sudden, a cop slams me to the ground. And it says, oh, I'm arresting you for trespassing. And a lady comes over, officer, he's visually impaired, he lives here, and those kids are, mind your own business. Like, they were saying what was going on, the kids were chasing me, I trucked, then the kids disappeared. So I don't know if the cop did see them or didn't, but kind of found out the kid had a relation somehow to that one officer, I found out, that did that to me. And then, like, other people are stepping in and saying, hey, he lives here, and they wouldn't listen until other officers came. Then the officer took me out of the back of the patrol car, out of the handcuffs, and had me show him where I live. And I walked up, and I didn't have my key to the door because it was a bad place where my mom and I lived. It was in East Greenbush. It was an apartment complex that had a lot of crime. and the bottom doorknob didn't latch because the door was kicked in. A lot of the doors are like that. So only door is locked was a deadbolt. So when I got there, I said, "Can I please have my keys?" And the officer said, "No, if this is your home going." I said, "I need the keys. The deadbolt's on." "Well, knock on the door then. Have your mother answer it and see." So I knocked on her. I'm like, "Is everything?" "Oh, we made a mistake, ma'am." I said, "Can I please have my keys and stuff and my phone?" I got my phone. My phone was busted and everything, and I had bruises on me because I got slammed into the patrol car, slammed into the ground and stuff, treated like a criminal. Then a few weeks later, I called the police because I was riding my mini bike because I was legally blind, riding it in a wide open parking lot, nobody around in the back, and with other people who had eyesight. My friend Andy, his son, who was like near my age and stuff, we were all riding everything, our own stuff and stuff like that. Being legally blind is different than complete blind if you all look that up. And all of a sudden, a car that was parked, I don't know what happened, I don't know if it was meant to or not. All of a sudden, as soon as I was behind it, all you heard was an engine rev. And I knew it right then. I said, uh-oh, here we go. And I got hit. So then I thought maybe it's an accident. They stopped. Well, what they do, they went fours and they flew out of the parking lot. And my friend Andy just happened to get the plate number for the car. And the cop told him, the same officer came out again, "We'll arrest you for interfering if you do anything, if you say anything or any of this. I don't want the plate. I don't know it's that person." They said, "Can you at least look into and look for marks?" "I ain't gonna do that. That ain't my job." And the cop says, "Nothing we can do. I'm sorry." Then my friend Dan's father stuck up for me because I was working on a van that my mom and I had. I was working on the motor, fixing a couple parts and replacing what it needed. And long story short, I'm underneath the hood, and my friend Dan's father said, "Joe, step back very slowly and don't move fast." I said, "Why? What? Don't ask no questions. Listen to me." So then I back up, and he said, "Come to my voice." And I did. And he said, "Come inside my building, come to my apartment right now." I go up there. He's out there and stuff, but I didn't know he had a rifle or something. He was telling these people I went to school and stuff, and the reason they said they were doing stuff because I'm blind, because I'm disabled and stuff like that. That's why they were targeting me and stuff like that. They said, "That gives you a reason to do that?" And then he said if he catches them doing something like that again, he's going to take care of it his way, to go to blank home and everything. So then he kept me out there until they went, and they said, "Just go to your apartment, stay inside for a day, and work in your van another day." Then a few nights later, it's under on my YouTube. This is how crazy the town was I grew up in on my playlist, if you check that. And it shows the apartment complex I live in, Russ getting ran over by the car, my friend Dan's brother, and Dan almost, and then my friend Maria talking about how there's a blind person who lives in here. Well, I'm not wasn't completely blind back then, visually impaired. And you can see the Ford Taurus that my mother was driving, the car that we had right there in the video where they showed right what all took place. And my friend's brother, my friend Dan's brother, he got like broken ribs and a couple other broken things because the car just ran, like it had him on the hood and it just kept driving. Then it ran over, and when he flew off the car, they ran over him with the car and stuff like that. Thank God he made it. And Maria was going to get involved, like she said, but then she didn't want to end up on the hood too, like they did. So it was crazy. If you look that up, you can see that. That's the area that I grew up in and stuff like that. The town, it was crazy from 6th through 12th grade. I stuck in that school district. Ugh, it was hard. Ugh. I did go to other school districts. Hey, I moved to Chatham, but I didn't get to go to Chatham schools. Yo, I was so disappointed. I was there a month or two the most in Chatham. It seemed like a nice place. Stillwater was an okay area. Mechanicville was okay. Averill Park was okay. Menands I didn't like. Slingerlands I didn't like. Albany wasn't that good. Troy I didn't like. I moved to all different areas. I was all around. Berlin, I didn't get to go there. Because that was only like a week. Then Sand Lake. Oh, then I moved to a town and moved out in a week because then my mom ran in financial struggle and couldn't keep the apartment, so we had to move again and go to another place. And then we stayed with family a lot of times and stuff like that, but that shaped me into the man that I am today, who don't back down from nothing. Nothing at all. But it is what it is. But, like, being called names on a constant basis with my dad and stuff like that. If I didn't have my Ford Probe full of stuff and it wasn't getting cold out and stuff like that, I'd be out in my car, because sometimes I did sleep out in my car overnight. I can't drive, but I rolled the windows all the way down because it's an old car, manual windows. Rolled the windows all the way down, just sat in the car and fell asleep. Peace out there. Fell asleep listening to the sound of the animals and listening to the sound of the cars once in a while going by and stuff like that, and it put me to sleep. Then I had to listen to my mom and dad arguing, even though my dad sleeps in the living room, as y'all can see. This is his bed right there, and this is the living room over here with the chairs and stuff. This closet I built, I put this in. This wall I built. I didn't have the money for paneling, so I made my own wall between the studs. This is what I'm up here is 1/4-inch wood instead. I know it ain't the best, but this was right here's like the closet ends, and this is right there. But look right here, I built this in because behind there's still storage. I built this in. This was a cabinet that I got, but my dad ripped the door off it, stuff like that, and stuff like that. But right here, I had to take this off because that's for the furnace. But down here, this is my dad's clothes. He ripped that right off the door. I built that. And down at the bottom is a fireplace. But let me show you something else. Right here. This is a stair I got for free from Marketplace. I'm giving you a life update. Pretty cool. Video. And in here, this is the volume button. This is the on button. This will turn the CD player on or go to the radio. Down here is a CD player. This is the on button for the CD player. Now let me feel. Right here is how you open the track. And right there is how you can shift to different tracks. And right here is fast forward. You hold that down. That is next. And that's play right there. Ooh, that's still on. Let me see if I've got that. Yep. My dad has country in there. You know what? I'll turn that off. See if I can go to the radio. Let's see if I got that right. Does that do the radio or no? No, it don't. Uh-oh. Oh, wait. There you go. That does the radio. And right here, we'll change it. The first dot where it feels like it's missing a door or something, or maybe the radio's built like that. I don't know. I don't know if it's missing something or it's like that. But we'll shut the radio off. And it came with this stuff also. And a VHS player. Thought it was pretty cool. Never had anything like this ever in my life. This is my first time having a stereo like this. Right there says Sony too. But yeah, I look forward to seeing you all in the next cool video. But yeah, life update. I'm also trying to get a dentist and stuff like that to fix my teeth and stuff like that. But life update. This life update, I probably won't do a life update for half a year or something, like a couple months later, keep you all updated. And hopefully by then, you'll be able to see a whole bunch of car repair videos and good history lesson. And if you made it this far, comment below what kind of videos do you like that I create the most. The walk-in videos, the nature videos, the car repair, the singing, the history lesson. Like, I know I can't sing the best with my situation right now, but I could sing better, but it is what it is. I could have done some singing today with everybody going, but I decided not to because I want to give you all an update on what's going on. But I look forward to seeing you all in the next cool video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It'll blow your mind what I can do with low vision. And never hold yourself back in life. Never. You can overcome anything life throws at you. And if someone truly loves you, if you're going through a help battle, they will stand by your side through it all. Because if I stand by my father's side, and I stood by my stepfather's side when he passed away because he got a blood transfusion, and it was a mistake the hospital made, and it ended up killing him. He was put on hospice, and they gave him a week or two to live. Yo, that man got on hospice when I was in 11th grade. And you know what? Well, it might have not been 11. It might have been 12. I don't remember exactly. I have to look. That they told him he wouldn't make it for when I... And he said, well, I want to make it see my son graduate. I said, son, who? I said, your daughter is the only one left in school. No, you. You're my son. He's like, I know your father who adopted you signed those papers where you haven't been there for you. And like the things that he put you through, it's hard. Like, I will say my father put my fish when I was in elementary school. I had my tonsils removed. He had, he drained all the water out and left a tiny bit of water and put the fish on the steps and told me, not the steps, the sidewalk, and told me it was my fault that they died because of what happened. But my stepfather now, that's why I'm gonna smile and make him happy. Like my stepdad, oh my God, I look up to him. He might have been an alcoholic and drank a lot, but you know what? He loved me. Nobody's perfect. And he fought and fought with hospice, and the nurses were even amazed who were coming out. They were giving him some hard drugs and stuff that were helping keep him alive, pumping the stuff into him and everything at home and stuff like that. And he made it. And I said, no, I don't want to go to, you're going to go. And I'm like, but this, and you know what's going on? Just go and graduate. Remember, pay attention to work, and that's all you got to do. And I did, and I graduated. I'm like, yeah, I'm out. Why didn't I graduate the last day of school after Regents? Yeah, I did the Regents. Yeah. I'm like, yes, I'm out. And like, and he's like, you gotta go get your diploma. I said, forget that diploma, I'm out. No, you gotta get that diploma. That's everything. Like, everything. I'm out of hell. I'm out. I'm away from all the. I said, ever since you came along, you don't put your hands on my mom and I anymore. I said, yeah, you might call me an agent, you were drinking, but now you're off the alcohol. You don't need to do any of that anymore. I'm like, I don't have any of this pain anymore going on. And then he's like, you're going to go and walk across that stage. I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. Then I have to go around all those people again. You're going to do it for me. And for yourself, because you'll regret not doing that years to come if you don't do it. So then I walked across the stage, and this one teacher, Mrs. G, went across the stage with me, who I trusted. She was the best teacher. She followed me from middle school all the way up through 12th. She was supposed to be a teacher assistant for the middle school, but she followed me all day. She was like the best teacher. And I graduated. My stepdad said, you know what? I'm going to be here for everybody for Christmas. I'm going to make sure I'm here for y'all for Christmas. I remember when I got home, my stepdad's on the front steps, and he was supposed to be bedbound. He wasn't supposed to be in, like, a standing. He got out against the nurse's orders and everything, the doctor's order, and against hospice orders and everything like that. He got out of his hospital bed, sitting there on the front steps, like, yo, he was sitting on the front steps of that house. I remember that house. My mom and I never had a house, ever. My stepdad was construction work. He built houses. He built an ice cream parlor. He built like a strip mall. He was a genius. He had his own business. Then he passed away. Everything ended. Like my mom and I, we couldn't afford to keep that place. It was $1,850 a month for rent. It was too big of a house to fit all of his kids and everything in there with us. And we couldn't afford to stay there. It was nice, yes, but we couldn't afford it. But he's sitting there on the front steps of that house, and he's in tears. Like, I come home, and this man's crying. I'm like, why is he crying? Can he, like, not get up and go back in? What's going on? I'm like... And I come up, and he like, grabs onto around to get the strength to stand up because he really didn't have much. And, like, gives me a hug. And, you did it. Show me it. And I showed him the diploma, and he's, like, hugging me and stuff. And like so happy. He threw a party for me, a graduation party, invited people and everything for me. My vision teacher, Mrs. Ansel, who was working on Braille with me a little bit, who didn't get to finish it with me, she came there, but she passed away from cancer. I went to her funeral too, and stuff like that. But it's sad because she passed away. She was a great TVI. But long story short, my stepdad, he was supposed to make it for Christmas. He made it for my birthday in October, when that was good. And my stepdad even sat down and talked to me. He said, son, I'm not going to be here much longer. You need to live your own life and find a girl and get married. But, I promise you one thing, you're going to keep an eye on your mom. You know she don't date the right men in life. You can't control her and tell her who she can and can't date. But be there for her during her time of need. And be there for her to support her. And be there for her when she needs a place to go where she can reach out to, because not many people are going to understand why she dates some people that she have. I don't even understand why she put herself in the situation that you guys found yourselves in, but don't turn your back on your mama. She did adopt you and has helped you a lot, but you can't get mad at her for some of the people that she has dated, like her illness that she doesn't mean it. I said, I understand. And he's like, well, I ain't gonna be here. My friend Nick, if you need a thing ever, and you need to talk to him about something going on with your mom, reach out to him, or reach out to John, my son, your brother, and anything you need. If you need, like, anyone to help you, if your mom's being abused or something to pull her out of the situation, she needs to reach out to them. Well, I would have said his son Tommy, but his son Tommy passed away in 2022. So my one stepbrother passed away in 2022. His name was Tommy. He was named after his dad, Tom, but he passed away. So John, I talked to him, and he already said if anyone ever mistreats my mom, just let him know, and he'll pull my mom out of that situation, help her. I said, John, I can't babysit my mom my whole life. I'm 31 years old. I've been babysitting her since 2019. And before then, after your dad passed away, I've been, like, helping her get out of situations and stuff. And I can't do this my whole life. It's going to tie me down. And when I start a family, I'm not going to let my kids be around any kind of hardcore drugs or anything like that. Or any kind of drug. I'm going to teach my kids the right way in life and not be around any of that. And my mom don't touch it, but people who she date does because she wants to fix them. I said, I understand. And he's like, I understand it hurts you seeing your mom be mistreated. I said, it does. But I can't choose who she's with. And long story short, John said, that's right, but we can be here for your mom so when she falls. But I said, I worry so much. She moves in with a guy. What if he abuses her and beats her and nobody knows and it's too late and something happens to her? Then I'm like, is it my fault that she passed away because I wasn't there? Because I wasn't living with her, so I wasn't there to protect her? But it ain't my job to be protecting her 24/7 all my time. It isn't my job to be. It is my job to be there for my mom who adopted me, but it ain't my job to protect her all the time. So long story short, those things and stuff like I worry about. But other than that, I'm working on my music. I'm learning how to produce. I got a USB keyboard that Kyle gave me because I got a 25 key, but my fingers are too big for like the key. Oh, speaking of that, in school, I got a broken finger even. Like, I got pushed into the bleachers, and I knew to put my hand out because I was too close to see where the bleachers were, so I just put my hand out like that to catch. But how I got pushed, I went down, and my finger got stuck between the bleachers, and when I got pushed by that kid, I literally got pushed, and they seen that, they pushed me even further down, like right, it bent my finger the way it wasn't supposed to go, and it broke my finger. And I went to school, that school nurse, she said, oh, it's just sore. I said, can I call my mom? Or could you call my mom and let her know I gotta go to the doctor? I think it's broke. Oh, it ain't broke. You're just gonna use that screw. Back to class. Like, you gotta be kidding me. Which I got that in my doctor record because when I got home from school that day, like, yo, even my shin, like, there's a spot on my shin, if you look or feel, like, you can see it if I wear shorts, it's a spot on my shin that's chipped. That's from when I got hit by something at school, some object. I got rammed with hard. And that hurt. But it was what it was. I couldn't do nothing about it. Like, I had to go for an education. That's the school I was chosen to go to. And that's what I stuck going through. Like, the teachers are amazing. They're not all the teachers. Like, some of the teachers are amazing. One really started a room that was real bad because my mom was cleaning the microwave and she takes water pills because she has a heart problem. She's in heart failure. She's been in for a year, so her legs built up fluids because of her heart condition. Well, she forgot a sponge that had, like, metal on it. And she left it in the microwave, left the microwave, like, there. My stepsister Leela didn't know or did anything to look. She just threw something in the microwave and turned it on, and we couldn't figure out where the smoke was coming from. Well, that one teacher went around telling the kids in front of the whole class, hey, guys, you gotta make sure Joey don't go near any of this because he might put something and try and harm our building next. You should hear what he did to his house. I'm like, oh my. I said, excuse me, I didn't do that. My stepsister put something in the microwave. No, we think you did it, and your stepsister's taking the blame for you. I said, my stepsister and I don't even get along that well. So my stepsister went in and she said, listen, that's my brother. We're too close, and I feel my brother's taken my spot away from my father because he's a step-sibling, so I feel that he's invading into my father. But you know what? He did not do that. I put the thing in the microwave. I turned it on, and that's where the smoke came from. And then she was speechless after. But then, like, my ex-girlfriend who went to that school, all of a sudden in math class, we're in math class, and all of a sudden, will the Vivens have enough money to make it from New York and Florida, or will they not make it back in time with the funds? That's what the one math teacher did with the funds and stuff like that. I'm like, oh my god. And like my ex-girlfriend, I wasn't dating her like back then in school, but her cousin and, well, not her cousin, I mean her brother and her, they got right up and walked out of class. it was on all the paperwork. Like, it had their names written on it. And had, like, a math questions and stuff like that. And I could understand that hurt. And that was wrong. Then a teacher got arrested for doing stuff to students in that school. And it was bad, like doing improper stuff to like the male and female students. Like stuff that I'm not going to mention. But he got thrown out of the school in 2018 or 2019, but he's been working there since the 1980s. That's another thing. And it's like a whole bunch of stuff that, like, what's going on, like it's just stuff. It's certain stuff going on, like, I'm not going to say in that town because I'm not going to put myself back in harm's way. I got away from that, and knocking on wood, I haven't had a trouble in a couple of years because, like, I know a couple things that I shouldn't know and a couple things that I witnessed I shouldn't have witnessed, but I reported it to who I had to, and I did my part. But certain things I know, some people didn't like me knowing and stuff like that. So I moved, got away from that area. I only go shopping down there. Like, they are great people live in that community. You can't blame all the people. Certain people live there. Like, all communities have good and bad, but like my ex-girlfriend, she had experience shopping at a Walmart. She was targeted there. My ex-girlfriend's brother, who suffers from a disability, he was a little, I forget what it was he was diagnosed with, but he was riding his bicycle in 2013, and he stopped at the stop sign, because he always did, to check for cars, and somebody came up and smashed him in the head with a baseball bat, and then messed him up, and he was in the hospital for a little while. And it's the same kids that targeted me and stuff like that, so I know who it is. Like, matter of fact, I went on a date with a girl a couple of years ago, and she posted pictures of me all over a group from our area that we grew up, saying, "Hey, I'm going on dates with Joey." I'm like, dates? We ain't dating yet. We're going on dinner dates. That's date, but we're not dating. And then, oh boy, she shouldn't have done that. And her father said, "Christina, don't." And like, everybody said, "Don't do that." And like, siblings and everything said, "Don't do that." Like, people that she knew and people that I knew. Well, then all of a sudden, something happened with her battery. The battery died and stuff. Then somebody broke into her house, like she told me when I was gone. And they probably went through an open window and did the same thing that happened to my house. The bed was made. Because I never make my bed till the end of the day when I go to lay down. This I know someone, you know what I mean? So her bed was made. She had 2 cans of spaghetti sauce on her counter. And everything tipped over, her garbage and everything. Well, back in 2015 when I didn't get homeless anymore, I think someone followed my mom and I up from East Screamers one day. We had a lot of problems up there, right? We lived up in the one part where we had a mile and a half driveway, so we had a lot of problems up there. Someone disconnected the starter from running. I went to go to my ex-girlfriend's house and the car wouldn't start. So I'm like, okay, it ain't the battery, it's the battery has sparks. So I'm checking and feeling around at the hood, then I realize I'm following wires and checking things that could be, because I'm like, okay, so it ain't a battery. So I check the starter, wires right off the starter, so I go inside to see if I have any nuts or anything. So, Mom, I'll be right back. I can see if I can jump or something, jump this car. I was looking, and I couldn't find anything, so I said, "No, I'm going to have to hold that wire and get my mom to turn this car, and we're going to have to get out of this place." So I held the wire to the starter, to the car, got to fire right up, and I shut it and said, "Let's go." And then I talked my ex-girlfriend into letting me stay with my mom, because my ex-girlfriend said my mom was competition. She said mothers are competitions to girlfriends, that boyfriend can't do stuff, because then if a boyfriend buys his mother something, that's wrong, because like, I wanted to get my mom one year, my ex-girlfriend and I were dating, a Boston Red Sox teddy bear for $20. It was $20. I never got my mom anything in years since I was dating my ex-girlfriend. And my ex-girlfriend, "No, no, no." And I said, "No, no, I'm gonna go out." "No, you're not. You're not buying her Melissa Blank." And she said the S word, like what some women can be called, making fun of my mom and stuff like that, and saying stuff about her. I'm like, you know what, I ain't gonna bother. I'm just gonna let the bear sit there, and I just won't buy it. So I didn't end up buying it. I was in a 7-year relationship. I'm not gonna say my ex-girlfriend was bad, because it takes 2 people, but like, certain things we just didn't agree upon. And like, when I got in contact with my biological family, that's how I lost all my income. But some of them didn't do it. Only one did that to me with the income. So I wanted to meet my nieces, because I have 40-some nieces and nephews. I only got to meet like 4 of them. And a lot of my siblings got adopted out, and they're all different names. Some some group, like, they grew up in different areas and stuff like that. I found out I have some families out of state. I have some in Jersey, some in Florida, some in Tennessee, some all over, some in the Carolinas and stuff like that. So I was trying to get in contact with them all and see who was good and who was bad. Well, my one sister invites me up to her house. That's the next town away. So instead of having them pick me up at my apartment where I live, because my girlfriend's throwing a fit, you go and see your niece on her birthday. You know what? This is the end of us. I'm done with you. You put your family before us. I said, wait, when have I done anything with my family? You have. I said, wait, but where do we go all the time? With your family, right? And she said, yeah, but that doesn't mean that's different. I'm like, how is it different? Oh, because my father has bad arms, so he needs me to watch him. I said, but your father works. And he drives tractors and oh, that doesn't matter. And like, oh, my mom, she has diabetes, so I gotta be there to make sure her. But I said, all right, whatever. And then I'm like, so then I asked my sister, can she have my nephew pick me up down the road from the house, so it ain't no conflict with my girlfriend? And she says, sure. So then it's like, okay, so I did that, because no matter if a woman puts her hands on me, I will not put my hands back. So you can ask my ex-girlfriend. A couple times when she lost it and did put her hands on me, I didn't do nothing. Like when she put me in a chokehold, I didn't even break out of it or anything, or like go to grab or anything. I just said, okay, here we go. I gotta wait for her to let go, because I'm not gonna put my hands on a woman. I will not. And I didn't. So, long story short, I won't put my hands on a woman no matter if she's putting her hands on me, because I have that respect. No matter who she is, even if I don't know her, I will not put my hands on a woman. I respect a woman. But long story short, my ex-girlfriend got all mad and stuff like that and sent me text messages, we're done and everything like that. Then she had a studio apartment right next to mine because it was a door that connected them to, because it was an old hotel. So then she closed the door, kept me from my frying pans, kept me from my can opener. I knocked, hey, can I at least get my can opener so I can eat something? It was the next day. I say, took all my frying pans and everything like that. It's all in there. And nope, I'm going to get my family. I'll get to you later. Bye. So I walked behind the apartments where a mobile home park. So I walked back to the mobile home right where family was. And I got told by one, don't even come down here. I don't care if you need a can opener or something. Go walk to a store. I don't care if it's 20 miles and go get one yourself. I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm like, you know what? I got to try and figure out how I'm going to do this myself. So then I said, you know what? I'll do it myself. I used a saw blade and just cut a can open and then poured something in a bowl and then cooked it in the microwave. That's how I took care of that. Thanks, this owner gave me the bowls because I didn't have money back then, as you know. In 2016, the end of 2021, I had no income. And this was like back in 2018, 2019, right when my girlfriend and I were going through a lot of battles and stuff like that. Like, I slept outside the apartment out on the sidewalk a couple nights because I'm respectful. It was my apartment because we made my apartment the bedroom. Her apartment was the living room and kitchen because she was a partier. I didn't party, so she partied. I had respect. She liked her things. I liked my things. So she liked her bottle of vodka. And when she would drink and stuff like that, I didn't criticize her. I just said, you should slow down a little on drinking. And she said, are you my boss? Are you my mother? And I'm like, no, okay. So then, like, when we'd have arguments or something like that, or disagreements, I go outside. I got a futon, and I put it outside and covered it with a tarp so it wouldn't get wet. So if it was a nice night or something, I just slept out on the futon overnight. But when my ex and I broke up, and I decided I'm definitely going to break up with her, I made sure I didn't leave her at nothing, because I remember how my stepfather always said, no matter if you break up with someone, even if it's not your fault, but always, usually it's both, but sometimes it's not. But I say it's 50-50, because maybe I worked 3 days a week, so maybe that was too much work. But I don't think it was, and stuff like that. But long story short, I ended up buying her a car, so she wasn't left in the middle of nowhere with no car. You know, she had family. And I bought the car. It was a Chevy Cavalier. I got it cheap. I fixed it up and made sure it was running for her and everything like that. And I said, don't even worry about the frying pans. Don't even worry about any of that. Material things ain't worth worrying about. I'll start over on my own again. You can, if you want to give me some of my own stuff back, you can. If you don't, it ain't worth arguing. If you're gonna keep anything, just keep it. I don't care. It's material objects. It don't mean nothing. And she was amazed. I didn't even argue with her. Yo, she started to hand me stuff after she realized it wasn't getting to me. like some of my movies I didn't get, and a thing that I was blind with that I walk at monocular, I would look through to like read street signs like that help with my vision issue being legally blind. It like enlarged it for like blind people. It's a special monocular for legally blind people to like read street signs or stuff like that I was usually put up against your eye. She kept that and she still has that till today. Her and her family, they use it to look at the moon and stuff, so I don't care. They have it. Oh well, I haven't got no eyesight, so I can't use it anyway. No, at least someone gets use out of it. But I started out with no dishes again, so I went back to square one, no dishes. So then I had to get dishes, and I went back to using a food can and stuff like that, and a butter bowl and stuff like that. And eventually I got back on my feet again. But my ex-girlfriend and I broke up on good terms, I would say, because we're still friends today, and her fiance. And him and I talk. I'm like, hey, dude, I give you all the respect. But him and I did get in a couple fights because back when her and I were dating, she was talking to him and meeting up with him behind my back. And he wasn't the only one because one day I came to pick her up way before we even got into a relationship where we moved in with each other. I come to take her out to dinner, and my mom was driving. I knock on the door, and it's at her brother's house, and the door opens. Yeah, what? I'm like, you want to go out to... Oh, that's right. I forgot. I was going to actually come a little bit later. Can you come back? I said, no, I'm here. Can we go now? Oh. And she said, hang on, I'll be right back. And she shuts the door very quietly, latches it very quietly, and then goes into her brother's house and takes about 20 minutes to come back out. Then she sneaks out the door, shuts it very quietly. Then we go out to dinner, stuff like that. Then we go home. Like back to her home to drop her off. And then there's a guy. I was like, oh, that's a friend of my brother and stuff like that. I go, okay. But then I noticed that what's his name was her fiance now. They had nicknames for each other, saying things, and he was threatening to whoop me and everything. That put his hands on me. I said, know what? I said, I don't put my hands on people. You want to threaten me? I said, just come and... I said, I'm not no big bad man or anything, but you know what? I'm a man. Either I lose or I win. I really don't care. But I was taught to always defend yourself if it comes to a guy. So if you want to put your hands on me, go ahead and do. But I'm going to fight back. And from learning, like, martial arts and stuff for being blind and stuff like that, I learned stuff like that. And I didn't use martial art, but I used some of the holds that I learned. When he came at me with a knife, a kitchen knife, I learned from kids that I was going to school with and stuff that me at knife point and stuff. Like one time, when the kids at school, like, some reason stuck the handle of the knife in my hand, and so it's to get my fingerprints on it, so when they do something that they won't be blind for it, and I'm like, what? I understand it now. Back then I didn't, but now I understand what they were thinking of doing. But it is what it is, but... So I'm used to people coming at me and stuff like from being a kid, but I grew up in a very bad neighborhood and stuff like that, an area. So when Will came at me, I'm like, oh, either he's gonna poke me or he's not gonna. So I said, I really got nothing to lose. So then, me blind, I waited for him to do the first hit. And I didn't think he was gonna hit me with the knife anyways. If he did, I probably wouldn't know what to do. But waited for her hit, and I waited to, because I had worse vision then. So I waited to feel where he was, like tell, and use my ears and stuff when I was taught to, because I was taught how to fight and stuff with a blindfold from the martial art teacher. So I could tell by sounds and stuff. So I was able to get it under control. And I hit a nerve that made him drop right the knife. I hit a nerve hit that I knew, and it dropped the knife right out of his hand. And then I ended up, like, stuff like that, long story short, de-escalating the situation, and then he said, no, what, I ain't gonna mess with you again, and stuff like that. And my mom's home now, y'all, so I'm gonna end the video for y'all. I'll be right there! Alright, y'all, my mom and dad who adopt me are home. But I'm gonna give you all... Hang on! I'll be right there! I'm doing a video! I'm ending it! Alright, y'all, sorry about that. I just told them that, but long story short, I look forward to seeing you in the... Wow, as you can see, I'm not sure if you heard the names called. Already getting called names, I just said, hold on a second, you all. But I'm going to open up and let you all Can you not curse? I still have the video going. Thank you. Because I wasn't able to end it. Please don't curse at me in front of everybody. Sorry about that, you all. I do apologize if you heard that. Alright, where's my door? Alright. Sorry about that, you all, but it is what it is. I'm not gonna let you all hear my dad and stuff cursing and stuff at me and stuff like that, and my mom. What is what is. Sometimes that happens. I'm not sure if you heard the cursing. Yes, I should unlock the door, but I was gonna end it all. As you seen, I was just gonna end it like for a second or something. But long story short, I look forward to seeing you all in the next cool video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Below you, my I can do it low vision. Hitting that subscribe button is free. Let's see more amazing content that I create from songwriting, hip slice, and one more repair. Too many more things to list. I shall be blind nonsense videos up so if I overcame, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next cool video. But before I go, this is my bedroom. This is the door jamb I built right here. I don't know if my bedroom light's on or not. If it's not, it's dark in here. I'm not sure. I think my light's on, but it might not be. Hang on, let me go. No, yeah, the light is on, I think. But this is the pocket watch with my YouTube on it. These are my grandfather's keys on my adopted father's side that he wants me to keep safe. This is a new bedroom door that I put on, because a lot of my bedroom doors got broken from my dad and stuff like that. But I made this out of a 2x4. I cut and then I used a circular saw to cut for a doorknob. Then I used engraver to make it down better, so I can have a change pouch there. But I look forward to seeing you all in the next cool video. That's a life update. I won't be doing a life update for a couple months, you all, but I look forward to seeing you all in the next cool video once again. And remember, you're perfect the way you are. No matter what life throws at you, you're amazing. And follow your dreams and stay true. See you all in the next cool video. Peace.
Video. Stop recording video button.